YouTube. Welcome to Artist Discussion on Enoma. Today we are going to discuss Bette Midler. She's one of the artists that I really am fond of watching her movies or listening to her music because she's got that persona in her that is so cheerful. When I look at her face, it's the instant feeling that I get is she's cheerful. She makes me smile the moment I see her. The first thing that I saw of hers was Parental Guidance. That was 2 years or something ago. We were watching
with Billy Crystal.
Yeah. And since then, her image got registered in my mind, and I wanted to know more about her. I just liked her character, the way she acted, and she also reminded me of Barbara Streisand, especially for her role in Meet the Fockers, the movie. Second part, that is.
Barbara Streisand is in that role, not Bette Midler.
Not Bette Midler in the movie that I'm talking about. So this character of Bette Midler definitely reminded me of Barbara Streisand, and I connect with both the characters because it's a living free life with free energy, free spirit is what I like, and her character in Parental Guidance literally portrayed that kind of image. After that, it was a complete coincidence that we happened to react to one of her songs, and that was The Rose, one of the popular songs, I would say, of Bette Midler. And then Savio happened to prompt me that I already know this artist and I watched her in the movie, and I had no clue about who Bette Midler was till then. But then after that, I grew more curious about her. She fascinated me as an artist because the Rose song was superb. You can go back and check my reaction to it. It was so good. I was literally stunned by the way the song goes. Then we also reacted to Wind Beneath My Wings and a couple of more
From
songs,
a Distance, etc.
Yeah.
4 songs maybe till now. She was born in Honolulu, Hawaii on December 1st, 1945. Mother and father were normal folk. One was a house painter, the father, that is Fred, and the mother was a seamstress with the name Ruth Midler. She's got one daughter after a marriage with Martin von Hazelberg in 1984. Daughter's name is Sophie. Most of these songs that we're talking about, whether it's Rose, The Rose, or Wind Beneath My Wings, or From a Distance, most of these songs are songs that she's usually sung for movies. In fact, bigger than movies and songs, she's actually known for her Broadway performances.
Yes.
Whether it started with the debut of a Broadway performance of Broadway musical Fiddler on the Roof, which I like the movie, but
Yes.
This is a musical, Broadway musical, which I have never seen, which she was a debut performance, if I'm not mistaken, way back in the early 70s. Then she also was a performer at a gay bathhouse for a long time.
Yeah.
So most of these songs that she sung, even though they did pretty well on their own or part of an album, they also were part of movies. For example, The Rose was for a movie which was inspired by Janis Joplin, a popular musician at that time, 60s, 70s and 80s. You also had Wind Beneath My Wings, which is also part of another movie. Incidentally, movies, and especially Hollywood movies, were very, very big in the Midler family. Because you have Bette Midler, who gets her name from Betty Davis Midler.
Yes.
Betty Davis, the Hollywood actress of the past. Then you have also her sisters, 2 sisters who are named after Judy Garland and Susan Hayward, both Hollywood superstars at that time, or stars. So you had a family which was totally immersed in Hollywood and totally addicted to possibly Hollywood stars and their lives and their movies. As a youngster, she did a lot of reading, and because they came from a very down-to-earth, common, humble background, most of this reading was done at the Honolulu Public Library. So that's where she got access to a lot of books, a lot of things related to whatever she was interested in. She also ended up working in a pineapple processing plant in her early years, late childhood and early teen years. She was in a pineapple processing plant. That was the first job, if I'm not mistaken, to make ends meet. And then this talent that she had, because she was so talkative, and which she says she is not. In her own autobiography, and whenever she's been interviewed, she says, I'm not talkative. But whenever you see her in the roles that she does, It's always a talkative, bubbly kind of character, cheerful character. So, because of that, she also got many roles in plays, whether at school or in her early life. And then, of course, she entered Broadway, then performances at this gay bathhouse with some other musicians here and there. And she made it big. After that, she started becoming bigger and bigger. And along the way, of course, so many awards, nominations for big awards, so many mentions all over the place. In fact, last year itself, in 2021, she won a most recent big award, Lifetime Achievement Award, by the Kennedy Center, at the Kennedy Center. So she's quite big. She's quite big. We have not heard much of her in India, to be honest.
Yeah.
In fact, I hardly knew Bette Midler, till we heard a song and I realized, oh, I've heard this song before. And I realized recognized her from the movies, so that I watched. So a couple of movies or so. She's got a huge list of movies she's featured in, whether it's Hocus Pocus 1 and 2 now.
Yeah.
Her most recent is Hocus Pocus 2. Hocus Pocus 2.
Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, so she's got a huge list of movies. Parental Guidance, like a movie that Kirti is very fond of. Watched it a couple of times or so, I think.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, so a lot of things about this star that we know about recently, since we are doing an artist discussion on her based on popular request of some of our past subscribers and patrons, and regular subscribers rather, and past patrons who have been with us for a long, long time. So we've taken it up on December 1st today. What are things that you can tell about her as far as a singing career or acting career is concerned? Because that's what people usually know her from.
She's been into everything a little. So whether it's singing, whether acting, whether stage performances and Broadway, whether also giving voices for characters, animated characters. I have not seen this one, but I found out about it, and then I got to know that she also gives her voice to characters. So
including a wooden spoon,
yeah,
and
wooden
a
spoon and snobby poodle.
I don't know which cartoon this is, but she played certain characters which might have been difficult to play, to give voices to.
I think for her it would be easy. Seeing her on screen, I think good. It's given.
She's done a lot of collaborations also, from Michael Jackson to a lot of other people, Barry Manilow. Along the way, she's done lots and lots of collaborations, also with Barbara Streisand, I think at one point, Billy Joel, Stevie Wonder. She's also been influenced by a lot of these people along the way. A lot of influences in her musical career and perhaps in Broadway too. It's interesting, definitely, Bette Midler. She's won 3 Grammy Awards so far, 4 Golden Globes and others, many other awards.
Smaller awards.
Too long to mention actually all her awards and things like that. Wherever she's got nominated and all, it's a huge list. We've got many of these. She's also been featured in one of the most popular shows in America and many parts of the world. It's one of our favorite shows too.
Family favorite.
Seinfeld. Yes. So she's also featured in an episode. I think, I'm not sure if it's more than one episode, but she's been featured in the Seinfeld. In fact, till she was featured there, she was not a big fan of Seinfeld at all.
Oh, why?
She used to not even watch it. That's what she said.
Okay.
So, but after she came in, she became one of her favorite shows. So she became a huge fan of Jerry Seinfeld and the rest.
She's she's one of those celebrities that got balance of both worlds. So whether humbleness or whether being talented, both are so well balanced in her personality. Whenever I see her, whenever she is performing, wherever she is present, she carries that. So the humbleness, the down to earth person, most probably from a family background and from where she was raised and the way she grew up, her education, etc., to being one of the multi-talented personalities in Hollywood. She balances them both so beautifully. You never see her being pompous about things. You never see her bragging. You never will hear something that is out of the blue or what you won't expect her to do. She also likes philanthropic acts, such as in New York she has some restoration program or project going on where she also has adopted some highway where she helps the maintenance of the highway. Broadway. So there are different things that she likes to do, and I think she likes to keep herself busy, not only in terms of art, but also in terms of community.
She also has a farm in New York State somewhere, and that is
Okay.
her favorite place to hang out, to spend a lot of time on her own or with her loved ones. It's a huge, beautiful farm. I believe that farm has been featured on TV too,
Okay.
in more than a couple of shows. So it's a very nice, big farm. I'm yet to see it, but it's definitely been spoken about in a couple of places that we did research. So it must be really a big, nice farm. So she spends a lot of time there, quality time at this farm. And of course, Broadway is usually synonymous with New York. So I'm assuming that she spends most of her time in New York City for whenever she's acting on Broadway or performing on Broadway rather. So when you are a singer, Kirti, definitely you and can act as well. Definitely there's more offers on the table for you.
Yes.
So she had more than a fair share of offers in the late 70s, early 80s, especially late 80s too, that she actually turned down the role for Sisters Act.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
That was a shocker
For
when I read
Whoopi
about it.
Goldberg, Sisters Act became a legendary performance. Till today, people remember her performance as a sister or nun.
I think
in
that was a
Sisters
turning
Act.
point for
So
her.
I guess Bette Midler had so much on the table
Going on.
that she could literally reject roles that were coming her way at one point in her career. Or for any other reason, whatever she rejected that role for. So the rest is history for Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg must be really thanking, secretly of course, and discreetly thanking Bette Midler for rejecting that role. of
Okay.
Sisters Act.
One of the fascinating things that came out from her profile that we were compiling together, that for a wedding she had an Elvis impersonator attending that. Why was
As
that?
officiating, I think.
Yeah, officiating it. Why was that? Is she officially an Elvis fan or what?
Must be, because Elvis was so big in Hawaii. So I'm sure she grew up listening to
Yeah,
a
most
lot
probably.
of,
Yeah, that is the right
Elvis
connection.
Presley. Yeah, so
That
a
is
lot
the
of
right
Elvis
connection.
Presley. She must have seen him on set and all, because he used to go there quite often for holidays and movies, and even perform a lot in Hawaii. So yeah, she must have been a huge Elvis fan. Though in the inspirations, his name is not
No,
mentioned.
it's not there. That's
Strangely,
why I'm wondering.
there's a lot of other people mentioned who I don't see any of.
Andrew sisters,
in
you
her.
mentioned.
The Andrews sisters, I remember reacting to them long ago. One song where they were performing for the US Army in the World War II time or something, if I'm not mistaken. So she is very fond of the Andrews sisters, and she in fact does a lot of work again to try and keep groups like that alive, Broadway groups and all these performers alive. Herself being a performer herself on Broadway and similar shows and similar industries. Yeah, so there's a lot about her. Of course, when it comes to music, we must talk about it for a while. She has sold a lot of albums, millions of albums worldwide, with the songs that she has sung.
Yeah.
Many of these songs are actually covers, so it's not that she's written them.
Her renditions.
It's just sung by her. She's kind of like Whitney Houston, who many of the songs, her biggest songs, were not written by her. She just sung them. So Bette Midler's biggest hits are The Rose, Wind Beneath My Wings. Wind Beneath My Wings, in fact, was one of the biggest songs of the year when it was released. It was played almost everywhere, from radio to anywhere, parties, everywhere you got a chance, weddings. It was one of the biggest wedding songs I remember of those years, late 80s, early 90s and all. Even today, it must be pretty popular as a wedding song, first dance song, Wind Beneath My Wings. Especially for the 25th anniversary and golden anniversary of silver jubilee, golden jubilee of our married couple. This song Wind Beneath My Wings is very popular worldwide, even in India at weddings and all. Silver jubilee, golden jubilee, this song is often played for the dance of the married couple or the jubilee celebrating couple. The Rose is also very popular, From a Distance very popular. Most of these songs are big songs. They are around 15 to 20 big songs of us, and in fact we've not heard most of them, so we can't even say anything about those songs. We hope to react to them in the future if it's requested by you guys.
Soon, yeah.
On our Patreon pages where you can request them, or in the comments below. When we get time, we'll definitely, because there are thousands of requests piled up over the last 5 years or so. So she has a lot of big songs. There are other big songs which we have not heard. Definitely, we want to hear them.
We want to react to
Yeah,
them, yes, for
yeah.
sure. She also does, things that may be out of the box, but she's written a book, Midler's children book, The Tale of the Mandarin Duck. So you
Oh,
can only expect
Tale
that
of the
from her.
Mandarin
Yeah.
Duck.
It was published last year, 2021, on 16th of February. When Beneath My Wings is the version of Bette Midler version became the song of the year for 1989.
Oh.
It became that big. So her version made the song super, super, super popular. I
Yeah,
would say.
I mean, and also when we talk about opera, ballet, dance, performing, singing, she is, because she came from a very humble background, as I mentioned, she would head to the public library, she would go to any place, any person's house also, I'm told, to just go through their books. Books related to ballet, dance, theatre, opera, all the performing arts, even acting. She tried to learn from as many places as possible, not just her, but even her sisters. So she was also a valedictorian of a high school class, and she was in fact at a very young age voted most talkative or something like that
Yeah,
student.
by
Even though again she's very quick to always say that I'm not that talkative.
I'm the
So
quiet person.
it's kind of strange when you hear such things. She was named after actress Betty Davis, unless we fail to mention it right at the beginning.
In fact, Betty Davis is
I
called
love the
Betty.
song Betty Davis Eyes by
Very
Kim
acted.
Carnes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Betty Davis Eyes, wow, beautiful song.
But I always wondered why Betty is with E and not Y, and Bette Midler corrected that. So I like that because every time Betty Davis I read,
yeah.
I kept thinking, why is it called Betty when there is no Y and there is E? But luckily somebody was more sensible to have corrected that and present to you
Bette
as
Midler.
Bette. Yes.
But Betty Davis is still Betty Davis, but with
I
an E.
I know.
With an E.
With the
Oh.
same spelling, but it is pronounced differently, which makes more sense over here with Bette Midler.
She's also been successful as a touring musical.
Yeah. She
On
also goes on
concerts.
tours. Yep.
She's been pretty successful. In fact, for a year or so, she was performing at a single place in Las Vegas, like many other big stars, whether it's Barbara Streisand, Celine Dion, all her peers, etc. Many of them have performed at Las Vegas for a long time. So she too has performed in the year 2010, if I'm not mistaken. For a very long time, she performed in a single location in Las Vegas and to sell out crowds most times.
So having multiple albums to tours to movies, it's very safe to say she's so super.
Yeah, she has got more than a dozen albums
I
that we know of on the
Yeah,
screen.
yeah.
The first one was The Divine Miss M,
That
which
was
actually
known
made her
as-
popular.
Yeah.
Initially, in the initial years. The Divine Miss M in 1972, Bette Midler in 1973, Songs for the New Depression in 1976. Sounds interesting. Wonder if any of the songs we've heard, I don't doubt. Should listen to that album, Songs for the New Depression. Then Broken Blossom in 1977, Thighs and Whispers in 1979. Interesting, Thighs and Whispers.
Also, Bathhouse Betty, I think that would have the collection of the songs that she performed at the Bathhouse.
That was much later, 1998. So she has more than a dozen albums. The last one in 2014, and then so many performances. Oh, it's difficult to name all of them. Whether it's Broadway, whether it's some theatre performance, some guest appearance somewhere or the other. She's come in. I'm assuming close to 100 or even more than
Yeah.
100 roles.
Almost every year there's something
Yeah.
or the other, her performance is there, somewhere or the
So
other.
she must be pretty busy. Pretty busy. So the year comes in the New York farm once again, where she goes to relax, chill out, get away from it all, Must be her retreat. And a very relaxing one, and that must be. So definitely we should try and watch a video of that if it's there on YouTube, of this farm of hers. So yeah, I mean, this is all that
Interesting
we
to know.
would like to share about Bette Midler. Not Betty Midler, Bette Midler.
Bette Midler.
Inspired by Betty Davis, her name, and even her sister's names. From a humble background in Hawaii, humble beginnings in Hawaii, Honolulu, Hawaii.
Broadway to the Hollywood.
To the Broadway stardom, and even winning Lifetime Achievement Awards for her Broadway performances and her movies and of course her music. We know her mainly as music reactors for her music, and just 3 or 4 songs. So there's a lot to listen to of Bette Midler, a lot to see, watch of Bette Midler. and hopefully she'll be around for a long time. She doesn't want a biopic or anything like that to be made on her. For some reason, she's scared, maybe a little scared.
You remember Kathy Griffin?
Disturbed. Kathy Griffin, yes.
She also appeared on her TV show Bravo TV, on Bravo TV. So yeah, I wonder how she ended.
She has been all over the place.
She's been all over the place.
And Kathy Griffin also for a couple of years.
Yeah, for both of them.
In fact, even Kathy Griffin came on Seinfeld.
Yeah, she did.
Was featured for more than a couple of times.
Her character.
So Kathy Griffin was one of those characters who may have come three or four times on Seinfeld as a guest performer star.
Yeah.
So she's definitely been featured more than Bette Midler in Seinfeld. And she has a pretty similar role to what she has in real life.
Yeah, actually.
On one of the
It's very
episodes.
very similar. Almost the same, I would say.
Yeah. So
She didn't have to act.
Fun. Anyway, this was fun, this discussion. If you have an artist that you'd like us to discuss and talk about as Indian reactors, counselors, life coaches from a totally different part of the world from these artists, where they live and their farms, we can definitely check out our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/Enoma, ENOMA, or you can visit the link in the description below. Thanks for being here. Goodbye.